Okay. So we're going to do some book recommendations. We are the selectors at the DeWitt Library, and we're going to talk about books. So our first question comes from Patricia J. And they like mysteries like John Sanford or Joseph Finder or Rachel Hoke.
Have any of you read Robert Galbraith?
I love Robert Galbraith. I love J.K. Rowling's adult books better than I love. I know, somebody shoot me. Better than I love her kids' books.
Have you read all of her Cormoran Strike?
No, but I read The Casual Vacancy, and I do need to get back into the, how do you say it?
I say Robert Galbraith.
Yeah, but Cormoran, I can't pronounce that.
Cormoran Strike.
Yeah, what she said.
That's her detective.
Yep.
In those books. There's 4 of them out, and her new one is coming out. Troubled Blood comes out in September this year. I got really excited to think that that was available, and a little heartbroken that it doesn't come out until September. But if anybody's interested in those, as you say, you like her adult books, they're gritty. The Casual Vacancy is pretty gritty, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. But I thought it was excellent.
Yeah. I guess I found it a bit depressing because it was so close to what it's really like in England. Mm-hmm. I'd rather Hogwarts.
It's not that different here either. I mean, there was definitely, like, the setting was very brilliantly described, but it could be transferred to the United States, the whole situation. I mean,
yeah,
especially now, it's really showing the difference between the haves and the have-nots.
It's interesting that you say that, Josepha, because I've been listening to Brene Brown's podcast, Unlocking Us, and she started, the last one that I listened to, she started off talking about Robert Galbraith series and how much she loves them. So maybe that's another avenue. If you like Brene Brown, maybe you'll also like those books.
Oh, right. Well, the first one in the series is called The Cuckoo's Calling. Mm-hmm. That's where you need to start with those.
Awesome.
Have you guys read Val McDermid?
Oh, I haven't, but Becky, who I used to work with at the bookstore, loved Val McDermid. And she also wrote a book about forensic science that was
really, she did.
Like, she really knows her bleep.
Yeah.
Look, I didn't swear.
Val McDermid is Scottish, and they're really gritty novels, but some of them have been turned into TV shows. So one of the series is the Tony Jordan, Tony Hill and Carol Jordan. And Tony Hill is a psycho forensic person. But there's like, I don't know, maybe 50 books, I don't know. There seems to be tons of those. So once you get started in that series, and the first one is The Mermaid Singing, there's a ton of books that you can follow on with. But she also has another detective called Karen Peary, another series. And the first one is that one is called The Distant Echo. I read all of those ones. They're fantastic.
Awesome.
Cool.
Okay. So our next question comes from Jennifer P., who would like something hilarious, bust a gut funny. So something light and fun.
Well, I really enjoy all the novels of Christopher Moore. I don't know if anybody's read him. Have you read him, Jacqueline?
Yes, I have. I started to read the one about the serpent. Oh, what's it called?
Oh, The Serpent of Venice?
Yeah. Really funny.
All his books are really funny. I mean, they're a little, I don't know, like like looking back at them, because I pulled them out today just to look. They are like the older ones, especially, are a little sexist, like kind of, you know, a guy on the make kind of thing. So it makes them slightly dated, I think, but still they're very, very funny. Like he's just really clever and witty and often stupid, and they're great. I really like them. Um, what else is funny? Lots of things are funny. Um, there's a lot of funny nonfiction. Maybe Susan has some.
I was thinking anything by David Sedaris, if you're into his humor.
Oh yeah.
He's very, like, he talks about his upbringing a lot, but he's also very self-deprecating, which I thoroughly enjoy. So I think you can't go wrong with David Sedaris, and he's written several books.
He's written a million books. In fact,
Yeah.
I was just rereading his diaries because, well, they're hilarious. And also because it's sort of comforting. It's like they start in 1977 and they go till like 2004 or something like that. And it's kind of comforting to like look back at a time before all this shit happened. You know what I mean? And to just laugh. And I swore, sorry.
Maybe another book for the times might be like, Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs when I'm dead?
Have you read that yet?
I've read some of it. Yeah. There's another book that I think, recommended, Jacqueline. Nothing is Wrong, and Here Is Why.
Oh, I want to read that. I haven't read that yet.
I haven't read it either, but it looked hilarious.
Funny.
Who's that guy?
Yeah, that sounds
It's
really
written
familiar.
by Alexandra Petri. I don't know if
Oh,
that's
I know who she is. Okay.
Is she a columnist?
I think so.
Yeah.
It looks hilarious. Yeah.
Nothing is Wrong, and Here Is Why.
Hang on, I'm Googling her on another device.
I was thinking when I was looking at this question, I was thinking about Bossy Pants.
Yep.
Yeah.
Red Bossy Pants. Born a Crime.
That's excellent.
Josefa, you listened to that one.
It was absolutely fantastic. I love Trevor Noah.
Me too.
I've been watching the Daily Show. It's really good. Like,
Yeah.
he's really good at home. Like, he's just funny and cute and great. I love him.
And he does great interviews from home too.
Yep.
I think I like him better now than I did
That's what
back
Gus was-
in normal
that's what
times.
Gus- That's what Gus was saying. He thinks that he's like found his lane.
Yes, I would agree.
Oh, I know what was on that list. Oh God, with Bill Bryson. Very funny guy. Any book by Bill Bryson.
Yeah, that's true.
Walk in the Woods.
Yes, Walk in the Woods is a hoot.
There's he has such a huge range of books.
Yes, he's all over the place. You know who else is like that is Mary Roach. Have you guys ever?
Yes, like
They're-
stiff.
Right.
I just bought Bonk.
Pardon?
I just bought Bonk.
There you go. They're great.
Or Boink.
Good call.
Okay, next question comes from Melissa. Authors similar to Louise Penny or Robert Cray, maybe Greg Ills or John Hart.
It's a hard one.
That's that range.
Well, as the great Louise Penny fan that I am, I went through the Inspector Rutledge books. They're by Charles Todd. The thing is that the Inspector Rutledge books are set like after the First World War, and they're in England. So it just kind of like is really good for me. You know, it might not appeal to everybody, but there are people in the library that were also reading through the Inspector Rutledge series. They go back quite a long way, but there's a current one that just kind of like came out this year. There's usually one every year at the beginning of the year. So they're current. The first one in that series is A Test of Wills. So it doesn't matter if you don't start at the beginning, because his particular story that makes him such a lovely character is often repeated in each book, you know, in each next one in the series or whatever. So it doesn't really matter if you don't start at the beginning, but if you've got the opportunity to start with another whole series, it's always great to be at the beginning, isn't it? And another one, the Ruth Galloway series by Ellie Griffiths. The main character in there is a archaeologist, and she gets brought in by detectives to work on things. And there's a little bit of romance in there too, which is quite nice. Have any of you read those ones?
I was thinking maybe of the Maisie Dobbs books, Jacqueline Winspear. Have you ever read those, Josepha? They're good.
Yeah, I didn't really kind of quite get on with them.
Okay, interesting. My book group liked them.
Oh, yeah. It's another good choice.
Yeah, they're picky. So, yeah, there's the first one. It starts right after World War One.
Yeah.
What I liked about them was there's a thread of real darkness that runs through the whole thing, of how World War One was so devastating to everyone, and what it was like immediately afterwards is thread throughout this whole book. And then the character is kind of like a British Nancy Drew, kind of. So I don't know. She does a pretty good job, I think. They get better. Like the first one's good. They get better. Her writing gets better.
Oh, well, maybe that's it, because maybe, you know, I did the thing of starting at the beginning and it didn't.
Right. And I know there's some clunkiness in the beginning, but then with each book, she actually gets better at writing, which is kind of cool to see.
The reason why I thought the Charles Todd series might be appreciated by people who like the Louise Penny books is because the main character, like the inspector, he's very, you kind of like get very attached to him. He's suffering from post-traumatic stress from the First World War. Mm-hmm. And so you often get some strange stuff going on, like when you say there's a dark thread going through the Winspear books. Mm-hmm. It's a similar thing, I think, in Charles Todd. They're exploring other issues to do with the effect of the war as well, which is interesting. Do you know that book, The Lost Man by Jane Harper? Did a lot of people read that one? We had that in the library.
It got checked out a lot.
Yeah?
Uh-huh.
Because I decided to read the first one in that series. The detective in that is Aaron Falk, and the first book, I've put it down as one of my favorites of this year. It's called The Dry.
Okay, yep.
And I've tried the second one, and I've just got The Lost Man now, and I didn't find them as good as the first one. So I would definitely recommend, if anyone had been interested in that book, The Lost Man by Jane Harper, I would definitely recommend reading the first one, which is called The Dry.
Where are those set?
Australia.
Okay.
And I did it on audio, and it's read by an Australian man. So it'll help you differentiate between the English accent and the Australian one. And so I don't expect anybody when they come back to the library to think I'm from Australia. Okay?
Okay. Let's make that clear.
Thinking about, has anyone read The Yard?
No.
Thank you. I was thinking that too.
Alex
Grecian.
Yep.
Yes.
That's gritty, and it's a detective, and it was really, really well done. I didn't read the rest of them. There's like, what, 5, 6?
Mm-hmm.
Who's it by, Jacqueline?
Grecian. Grecian. Alex is the first name.
Spell it for me again.
Grecian.
Oh, like he's from, right, ancient times. Alex Grecian. Oh, okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
I think you'll like that, Josepha.
Pardon?
I think that you'll like that.
I think you might. Yeah, thanks for the recommendation.
All right, yay!
They're set in like Victorian London, right?
Ooh.
Kind of during Jack the Ripper time. They get pretty messed up if you go on in the series. So, in a good way.
And Susan, you like that Alex I don't know why I'm thinking Horowitz? The
Horowitz.
the
yeah.
Magpie Murders guy?
I forgot about that. Yeah. And I can't, it's a red cover. Don't
Right.
quote me.
Well,
Murders.
the
Something to
reason
do with
why
the
I have it-
magpie.
Magpie
I
Murder.
have-
Yeah.
I have a T-shirt of it.
Oh,
And
nice.
Magpie?
Yeah, the Magpie Murders.
This is why we have to do it all together.
He also wrote about Sherlock Holmes. He did a kind of, do you know what that one's called, Susan?
You know, it's funny. I have it on my shelf, but I haven't read it yet. I could go run and get it.
Susan, me too. I have them on my shelf and I haven't read them yet either.
My whole house is full of books I haven't read yet. Too bad I don't feel like reading right now.
Isn't the first one called House of Silk?
Yes,
And
that's
this-
it.
Moriarty.
Yes, Moriarty.
I can't see from here.
Gotta do some reading.
I know what I wanted to say too. When I was looking at the question about Louise Penny, she has a new book coming out in September as well.
Ooh.
I know. Everybody's gonna be so excited. And I didn't know that she was gonna, like, I thought she was gonna be done with all of her books, but now she's just whipping them out. So you go, girl.
Have we morphed into like psychological suspense yet? I thought there was another question about that. I'm holding back until then.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
next one. So should we move into the next question?
Yeah.
Talk about addendum psychological thrillers. Okay. So this is from Jessie. The last books that I read were Nightmare Room and When We Were Mermaids. Favorite books include Where the Crawdads Sing, Glass Castle, The Art of Racing in the Rain, and just really wants anything that can't be put down. So page turners.
There's so much in that question. I was thinking, has anyone read Ruth Ware?
Yes.
I've enjoyed
Yes.
most of her books. I would call her psychological suspense.
You're right. I think Into the Woods.
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
that
like
one.
a dark wood or
Tana
something.
French. Yep.
Mm.
Isn't that Tana French? Oh no, I'm thinking of a different.
It's a similar title, I think.
Yeah, never mind. I'll shut up.
No, Rhoda, I was thinking the same thing. They have very similar books. Is it Tanya or Tanya?
Tana. T-A-N-A.
Tana, French. Hers is like a white cover.
Mm-hmm. You can tell we work in a library. It's got a white cover.
It helps when people come and ask us that question.
Mm-hmm.
Mental note.
Indeed.
I have to say I wrote down for this one Station 11.
I love Station 11. Good call. Good. Except for that it might be hard to read Station 11 right now
Yes. I
because
thought that.
of
Every time I
everything.
see images of the Capitol, I think of Station 11.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if you want to read about a pandemic, go for it. It's one of the best books about it, but it might not be for everybody right now.
Well, people are watching, what are the movies? Contagion and
Uh-huh.
all of
Pandemic.
those. So
What about
And
some of
breaks.
those books like The Dragon Tattoo, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and things like
yeah,
that?
those are really good.
Scandinavian type things.
Mhm.
I decided to go backwards and read people who are a bit older. And I kind of found that genre, some of the books I've read are quite funny. I found Karen Fossum quite funny. Kind of like they're again supposed to be dark,
Mm-hmm.
psychological sort of things, but there was some humor in the way they were written. So. Ever's Eye was the one I've just read.
Cool. How about like some nonfiction? Can anybody think of any? Because she said she liked The Glass Castle, right?
Hmm.
Oh,
I
like a
think-
memoir?
Yeah, if she hasn't already read it, Educated,
Oh yeah, that
I
was
think
great.
that's kind of a similar storyline.
Yep.
And I couldn't put it down when I was reading it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really well done. I was thinking of other memoirs. I haven't read both of these yet, but they might fit the bill. Inheritance by Dani Shapiro. Have any of you guys read that or heard of that?
I've heard of it. It sounds great.
Yeah, that's the one I did read, and I thought it was fabulous. Basically, she takes a DNA test and she discovers that her father, who raised her, is not actually her biological father. Spoiler alert. And just kind of her journey from there and sort of reconnecting with her past and her fraught relationship with her mother and discovering her actual biological father. And it was really good. It was really well done.
I just took a DNA test. Turns out I'm 100%. Okay.
Thank you for going there.
So I looked at you and you.
Yeah, we both were. It started spinning through our heads at the same time.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was thinking about Hillbilly Elegy.
Oh, that would be good.
That's good.
That was excellent. I really liked that book. That was one I listened to in the car, and I like would not get out of the car because I was like, I'll just keep listening to it. So I was sitting in the parking lot for like another 20 minutes.
Let's see. I enjoyed Running with Scissors. What? And then, of course, there's always this. Which I haven't read yet, so sorry, but it's the best title perhaps in the world. So
has anyone else read The Vesuvius Club by Mark Gaddis? I feel like I'm doing a book talk. These are so good. It's like James Bond meets Sherlock Holmes meets Monty Python with Austin Powers.
All right.
What's everybody reading now?
I'm having a hard time getting into things. I got to be honest. I actually started cleaning though, which is weird for me. And I found a Margaret Atwood book I hadn't read, Oryx and Crake, which is the first book in a series of which I've read the other series. So I started to read that and it's great, except for guess what? It's about a pandemic. So I'm like, oh man. So I had to put that down. I'm sorry. I'm a wuss. How about you guys?
Well, I've just got 2 books that have arrived in my ebook stuff. So I've got The Beekeeper of Aleppo and Kingdom Tide by Ry Curtis. So I'm hoping they might kind of be enjoyable. Well, The Beekeeper of Aleppo I think is very sad, but it's also about overcoming a lot of terrible things that happen to you. So
Cool.
I've also had trouble reading during this time. I just started, I can't say too much about it yet. I started Because Internet by Gretchen McCullough, which came out last summer. And I remember seeing it and thinking, hey, I should read this. But then, of course, I got distracted like I always do. So yeah, it finally came in through Libby, and I'm really enjoying it so far. Actually, she came up in my linguistics class that I took this past term. And I knew her name sounded familiar, and eventually came back around to the book. But anyway, she has this podcast, and she's just so quirky and fun and warm and friendly. And so far, that really seems to be coming through in the book. Her tone is very conversational, so I think it's really accessible. You don't have to be like a language nerd to get into the book. So yeah, so far so good. Stay tuned on that.
I'm in between books. I just finished my book talk book, which was The Downstairs Girl by Stacey Lee. That was awesome. Really, it's been really highly praised, and I can see why. Chinese American girl living in 1890 Atlanta, Georgia. And she is a lady's maid by day and an advice columnist by night. So it's full of a lot of really good historical events like suffragists on bicycles and streetcar segregation. It's good. It's really well done. And the teen top 10 list came out. So that's a list of like 25 books that kids vote on over the summer. And so I was like, I'm just gonna start knocking these out. And so the first one that I picked on the list is Between Worlds. And it's just a compilation of British and Irish folk tales.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
So I was excited to see that. So I thought it goes really well with the summer reading theme.
Cool.
But so far, so good. So thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.